Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting of the Audit and Finance Committee to order at 5:03 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance will be presented at the council meeting tonight, and we'll go ahead and do roll call.
Okay, Borba is absent. Rochester?
Present.
Ambrose?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Subsequent need items.
There are none.
Approval of agenda as posted or as amended. Let's see, staff's recommendation is to approve agenda as posted.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it's posted.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Rochester, second by Ambrose. Rochester?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
The motion passes.
The regular meeting minutes, was that part of the last one? Actually, I always get confused here with that number.
Oh,
So it goes here.
so you've approved the agenda. Now you have the minutes.
Okay. Normally it would have a topic like that over it though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the next item is the minutes.
So April 28, 2025, regular meeting minutes. Staff's recommendation is to approve. I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ambrose, second by Rochester. Rochester?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Funding and budget matters. Treasurer's report unaudited for the month ending April 30, 2025. Staff's recommendation is to approve. Are there any questions?
Just for clarity, staff's recommendation is to motion, is for this body to recommend that the city council accept the treasurer's report.
We'll still open it up for any questions if committee members have any. No? Then we'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report or forward the treasurer's report to the city council for approval as recommended.
Second, and in the future, I'll read the whole line.
Okay, motion by Rochester, second by Ambrose. Rochester?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Fiscal year 2025-26 proposal budget discussion. I'll go ahead and pass it on to you.
Okay, well, thank you. You know, we didn't have any pressing audit and finance items for this meeting, so I thought it would be a good idea to put a placement on the agenda about a general discussion. That way, if there were any questions, this can be an additional time for both committee input, public input, staff input. I was going to go ahead and just give you a brief overview of what the presentation on my part will include for tonight at the city council meeting. The draft budget has been provided in advance in the agenda packet that was published on May 22nd. Tonight at the meeting, I'll present a PowerPoint to go over some of the more major items of the budget. So we'll take a look at the general fund, and we have a few slides on the enterprise funds. I also start out the presentation with a brief overview of the budget process in general for those that are interested in learning about why cities do budgets, and just spend a little bit of time on that, and then we'll move into the general fund, which is where the bulk of our time will be spent on looking at what our estimated revenues are, estimated expenses, and looking at, we are proposing, in this budget, there is an estimated proposed structural deficit, but we've done a lot of work to get it down from what it was last year and for the current fiscal year. So at this time, when I presented to you for 24-25, we've shrunk it quite a bit. And so we're looking at about $350,000 of structural deficit. But we'll also look at a couple slides that I've prepared that will show how we've been able to work that number down. And then also some consideration of going forward, looking at ways to eliminate that in future budgets, both, with revenue expenses, and then typically it's not ideal that we run vacancies, but it is a realistic thing that we do occasionally run vacancies, and so that always helps on our expense side. So if revenues are able to come in as estimated and we're able to suppress some of the expenses, we may end up being just fine. So so that's the kind of the bulk outline of my presentation tonight. Also, I know the department heads, we're really looking forward to the upcoming strategic plan, because for some of us, we haven't been part of it with you. The strategic plan was already in place when we came on board, so it's going to be a new experience for all of us. We're all really looking forward to it. And then my suggestion for both the Audit and Finance Committee and then council as a whole going into strategic planning, once that plan is adopted, if there's any items that will have budgetary impacts, that perhaps we look at scheduling workshops earlier in the fiscal year, so we know out of your whether it be a 3 or 5 year strategic plan, what are the priorities that you want to see funded in that upcoming budget. So for example, if the strategic plan is adopted shortly after the start of this fiscal year, perhaps we could meet towards the end of the calendar year, so as we're starting to put together the 26-27 budget, we know what priority elements of that plan we need to fund in that upcoming budget. So that helps us as a department heads implementing the plan. And that's pretty much all, and I have, if there's any questions about the budget that I can answer, I'll be happy to. If there's a lot of information, so sometimes we have to research. I don't have it all here, so I'll answer what I can tonight. The department heads will be on staff to answer any questions that are specific or programmatic to their departments that we can.
I just have one question, just for the public's knowledge. Tonight is not really the budget. We're just actually having a workshop and encouraging the public to come in and provide input on, what maybe they would like to see, and for council to provide input on what the council would like to see. And so this is just exactly what City Manager Holm indicated, is that it's a workshop and we're all working together to develop the budget together tonight.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add on to that. So there's two kind of tracks going on simultaneously here. There's the budget, and then there's the strategic plan workshop on Saturday. So for the budget, we've got some immediate action that needs to take place. Not tonight, but for June 9th. So this draft presentation is, it's a workshop in the sense that it helps everybody dive deep into understanding the budget and asking all the questions that they'd like without any time limits. We've removed the time limits from that. But for long-term changes, structural changes, moving things around, that's really going to require a long-term approach. So we'll have those discussions as well on Saturday when we do our strategic plan workshop. And if those changes require us to kind of huddle together to figure out the best way to maneuver that within the scope of the budget, then that's going to require perhaps more time than just whipping this out for June 9th. And more likely, we take the budget that staff has prepared and get that through, get it approved, and then sort out the things that the council and the community are looking forward to from a strategic perspective over the next several months to figure out how we may amend the budget in the future or look towards next year. For those real bigger items, we could look at that. That's kind of the idea.
Awesome, thank you.
So just for clarification, I guess on my end, since I won't be here for the council meeting, will someone be letting the audience know or the citizens know that if they're going to make a suggestion, let's just say increasing the conference budget for PD, where are they gonna pull that extra money from? Or will they be back and forth like that, or is it just we're taking suggestions and then we'll see if we can try to make the edit later?
Yeah, so I think because we haven't had a real strategic planning session for a number of years, it would be a good idea for us to have kind of those structural changes discussed on Saturday so that we can make changes going forward, but not necessarily, we may not necessarily have the time to scramble and make quick changes before June 9th when we have the final budget come back to council. So not to say that, you know, it's impossible to make any changes. It's just, given the time frame that we have, we'll probably need some time. And so what we've done is we've gathered all the department feedback on what's necessary for this budget that we're proposing and presenting that to the public and to the council to get feedback, but also to kind of show this is what we have, this is something that will work, this is how we've reduced the structural deficit and so forth.
Okay.
And then, you know, it's really nice that we have on Saturday this strategic plan workshop that we can talk more about the long-term stuff where we'll make some real changes however the council would like to do.
Okay. I have no questions. Do you have any follow-ups now? Okay.
I'll just want to add to that, because we're really, when we were looking at the structural deficit, we wanted to take a very pragmatic approach at what can we do to reduce the deficit while not eliminating core services without the directive of a strategic plan that says, here's council's vision. And so we wanted to be able to give you a sensible budget to get through 25-26 that can let operations continue while you come together and create your new strategic plan with your vision and those marching goals that we'll all get. So with that, though, this is an opportunity to check in on the budget before it does come forward in June. We do have to adopt it before the end of June. Our target date is June 9th. That way the finance department has time to get it into the system and we roll our transactions come July 1. But it is also an opportunity for education and public engagement and open discussion, because you just always learn a lot. And so depending on what the request is, it's not that we wouldn't entertain it, but it may just not be possible either with money, you know, depending on what it is and where it's coming from, or it might be something that Chris and I go back and scratch our heads and go, you know what, let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, it's right there. So it's simply hard to answer that without knowing what the idea might be. But chances are a lot of it would probably be more applicable in the strategic planning process, where we know then what your vision is. It's like, okay, that goes into our next fiscal year list that we've already started through conversations with the department heads as well. These are the things we need to keep an eye on for operation expense increase or, you know, staffing needs, things like that.
Just be prepared, especially you, Chief, for all the, let me lower this down a little bit, for the Measure B comments and questions and so forth with this when you guys open it up tonight.
Yeah, just to speak on that for a moment. We also have on the agenda after the part of the item on the agenda where we talk specifically about the budget. The following item is about the public safety expenditure plan. So hopefully we've had a chance to look at that and we could talk more about that when it comes up as far as what the guidance should be coming from the council in view of public comment as well, to see, especially, and we'll get to it later, but especially that other category and how that is defined and some examples there. So looking forward to talking about that. This is like a preview meeting. It's great.
I was just going to say, it's unfortunate that you won't be able to join us this evening, Councilman Ambrose.
This will be the first one I missed, but as you see, I have daddy duties tonight. Is there anything else? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Comments from the public?
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record. However, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and are placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Seeing no one coming forward, we'll go ahead and close public comments. Committee members matters.
I don't have anything. I'm just looking forward to the discussion tonight for budget. I'm thankful to our city manager for opening the microphone for the community to come in and, speak about what they would like to see in the budget or to ask questions. I think it's great for transparency, and so I appreciate it very much.
And I just want to say again, like I normally do, thank you staff for everything you guys do. Yeah, you guys just make us look good up here. You guys do an awesome job. And we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 5:19.